Hey guys, Alessio, hope you're well. In this video, I want to take a very brief look at the chart of Bitcoin and also this important chart here, which relates to Ethereum and what this means both for Ethereum and also for Bitcoin. And plus, we'll dig into this important chart here and what this could mean for Bitcoin going into the next several months and potentially the end of the year. All right, guys, join me. All right, guys, welcome back. So some of you have been asking me for an update on the chart of Bitcoin. So I'll cover Bitcoin briefly in a minute and also cover Ethereum as well. So we'll cover both Ethereum and Bitcoin, also this important chart relating to Bitcoin as well. Before we dig into these charts though, I think it's important to cover something else first. I'm sure some of you have heard the news about the situation between Iran and Israel. And I'm sure some of you in the comments are going to ask me, hey, Alessio, how are things going on in Iran? And also, how are your friends doing over there in Iran? Some of you probably know I visited Iran just a few months ago for the Persian New Year. And in fact, I went there last year as well. So I hope you don't mind if I just mention a few words about this. First of all, I hope the people in Iran and also in Israel, I hope they're both doing okay. I have friends both in Iran and also in Israel. So yeah, I really hope they're okay. And just want to show you some photographs. I took this photograph just a few months ago in Tehran, and this is actually not far away from some of the places that have been hit during the recent conflict between Iran and Israel. This is a beautiful place, by the way, if you ever go to Iran. My friends Human and Sarah are here. In this photo, you'll see inside this mall, they built this waterfall, which is really beautiful. This is a photo I took in one of the restaurants. One thing that me, Sarah, and Human would do is we'd go to these coffee shops and just try different types of coffee and go there and do some studying and talking. And these are some of my friends as well, cooking Iranian food, which by the way I really miss. I haven't tasted Persian food for some time since I came back to the UK. By the way, I forgot to mention that Sarah and Human said to me that they have been worried about the recent attacks, that they said that their building has been shaking during the night when there have been these attacks happening. So yeah, they can see what's going on and they're going to send me some pictures. So hopefully when they get some pictures and videos, I'll share it with you. By the way, one more thing I want to mention here about my recent trip to Iran is I'm trying to encourage my friends to read more because I'm sure you know that reading in America, but also other parts of Europe and the world has declined significantly according to studies. So it seems a lot of people have stopped reading books and instead are reading garbage on social media. So what I'm really encouraging my friends here to do is read. And that's why, as you can see here on this particular picture, there's some books here we took with us. And one of the books, in fact, I took with me, one of my favorite books is Thus Spoke Zarathustra by Friedrich Nietzsche. So we would go there and read books by Nietzsche. And by the way, I want to finish this video with an important message, which I'm sure some of you in the comments are going to say, well, that you feel sorry for the Iranian people. Let me just say this. People in Iran do not want your pity or your charity. I know you mean well, but you have to remember that the Persians have a history going back thousands of years to Cyrus the Great, one of the greatest men in history, one of the most brave men in history, who, by the way, as I'm sure you know from your history books, liberated the Jewish people from captivity. So I think instead of saying you feel sorry for the people in Iran, instead, I think we should ask for courage. Okay, and I'm asking my friends there in Iran to have courage, not to ask for people to feel sorry for you. In fact, I want to finish this particular video with an important quote from Nietzsche's book, Thus Spoke Zarathustra. He says, "Do you possess courage, O my brothers? Are you stout-hearted? Not courage in the presence of witnesses, but hermits and eagle's courage." By the way, this is one thing I've learned from Nietzsche, which is there's a difference between having courage in front of other people and having courage in absence of witnesses, which is much harder and much more difficult to find. Then he continues, "He possesses heart, who knows fear, but masters fear, who sees the abyss, but sees it with pride." The abyss, by the way, in this context means your worst fear, your arch enemy. Then he continues, "He who sees the abyss, but with an eagle's eyes, he who grasps the abyss, but with an eagle's claws, he possesses courage." In other words, guys, what separates you as a great or a higher person as opposed to a mediocre person is when you face your greatest fear, your abyss, and you can overcome that, you can challenge that, rather than running away, instead to facing those fears and mastering them. As William Shakespeare says in Julius Caesar, "A coward dies 1,000 times before his death, but the brave taste death but once." So that's what I'm wishing for my friends in Iran and also in Israel as well. Okay, let's go to this particular chart. Now this is really interesting. What this chart shows, by the way, courtesy of glassnode, as you can see here, this is the chart of the short-term holder cost basis model. Okay, and according to glassnode, what they say is, with BTC recently changing hands near the all-time highs, the short-term holder cost basis offers key insight. It sits at $97,000 with key thresholds based off standard deviation bands at $114,000 and $83,000. A breakout or breakdown from this range could define the next major market move. Okay, so in other words, if we get a breakout above the yellow line, let me just show it over here. The yellow line currently appears to be, so that's the +1 standard deviation level. So that's approximately at 114,000 or 115,000. If we see a breakout above that yellow line, okay, that level right there, which is approximately 115,000, then we could see another major move up to the red level, the red band, which approximately would be in the region of $130,000, $140,000 approximately, I think, gathering from this chart. Okay, so, and by the way, that is what I'm expecting. I think in the next several months, we could see a breakout above the highs. So I think quite likely we could see a breakout in the next several weeks above that yellow level. So approximately above 114,000, 115,000, and then a move to the upper red band, approximately just near the 130,000, 140,000 level. And by the way, that is when FOMO will probably set in. So we'll probably see a lot of fear of missing out there, FOMO, at approximately those levels. Okay. By the way, as you can see here from the past view of the chart, you can see whenever the price here has come up to the red band, this occurred in 2024, that's when we see a pullback. In other words, reversion back to the mean. Happened also, as we can see here, in the year 2020, year 2021 there. You can see a big surge there, then a pullback. Sometimes, by the way, price can become extremely overbought and FOMO can set in for a period of time before we see a pullback, as occurred there and there. So I think that's quite interesting, this glassnode chart. And let's just wait and see what happens in the next several months. But I think on the balance of probabilities, I think it's quite likely we could see a move to that red band. Okay, let's go on to this particular chart of Bitcoin. Now, before we come to this, I want to just mention Ethereum. It's quite important because Ethereum can often be a leading indicator for Bitcoin. In my view, what Ethereum is doing after this major decline here, okay, so after this major decline, what we've seen so far are 3 waves up. Okay, by the way, in case you're thinking, why 3 waves up? Why not 5 waves? Because I'm counting this. Okay, let me just show you. So I'm counting this rally so far as wave 1, 2, 3, and 4. So I think we're just about to complete wave 4. All right. In other words, I'm seeing this as a consolidation. So this recent breakout was actually not wave 5, but simply a breakout, a false break within the consolidation pattern of wave 4. Okay. So this entire sideways movement we're seeing here on Ethereum in the past several weeks has been a wave 4 consolidation. And I'm looking for a wave 5 eventually to take us in the upper zone here. And these are the retracement levels. Again, golden ratio retracement on Ethereum would be the 61.8% golden ratio retracement. That's 3,067 to potentially the 78.6% retracement at 3,525. And that's the region where I think wave 5 could be coming up to. So wave 5 for me, based on Elliott waves, would be in this region. Okay, that's where I think Ethereum ultimately will go to in the next several weeks and months. Is there a guarantee about this? No, there is no guarantee. I'm looking at this from a probabilistic perspective, but I think it's a higher probability. So as long as Ethereum remains above this red level on my chart at 1751 here, okay, so as long as Ethereum remains above 1750, 1751, I'm remaining a bull on Ethereum and also Bitcoin. And I think eventually we're going to see a move for a wave 5 into this region between 3,000 or 3,067 to 3,525 in the next several months. Okay, so that's what I'm looking for as a likely move for Ethereum to complete this 5-wave move before we see another major pullback. And that means this, because I'm bullish on Ethereum, again, I'm remaining bullish on Ethereum as long as we stay above 1750, that bodes well also for Bitcoin as well. So I'm still expecting higher levels on Bitcoin. And I think once this consolidation pattern, again, there's a similar consolidation pattern happening here on Bitcoin here. Now we'll see what happens, but I think in the next several weeks, as we go into the likely the end of summer period, I think very likely we could see another higher high. So on the balance of probabilities, again, based on everything I've just shown, again, the 2 charts I showed on Ethereum and also this chart I showed on glassnode based on these bands. So because I'm looking for a breakout to higher levels, again, to the red band, So I'm looking for eventually a breakout on both Ethereum and on Bitcoin to much higher levels. So yeah, I'm remaining a bull on Bitcoin, and I'm remaining patient until I see a breakout above the prior high. By the way, I think even a break of this recent high, not just 115 or 114, but I think a break above this recent high could potentially produce that next major wave up to new highs. So keeping it simple, in the meantime, I'm still seeing this as a sideways consolidation, sideways pattern, okay? And I think as long as Bitcoin can stay above key support levels, again, for now, this is a sideways consolidation before finally we rally higher, going to the end of the summer period as we head through July and August. All right, guys, thank you very much indeed. I look forward to seeing the next video update. Cheers.